All right, so now I'm gonna be doing a custom barn door. So let me go over the materials really quickly. So this is the door that I'm gonna be using. I got this from HD. It is a 32 by 80 inch door. It's kind of light. This is my kilts. I'm doing a black door, so I'm gonna be using my primed tinted primer. So this is just the kilts with a little bit of black added. I have my Satin Tricorn Black Sherwin-Williams interior paint. That's the showcase grade. I have these trim pieces that I purchased from Home Depot. So these are 1x4s, 8-foot pieces. That's what I'm going to use. I have some sandpaper, 22 or 220 grade. I have a sanding block. I have this wood glue going to use to install the trim onto the door. I have a foam roller and a tray. That's what I'm going to use to put the glue on the wood trims. And then there's this putty. This is going to be the first time I'm using this, but it's an all-purpose Bondo putty. This is what we're going to use on the edge of the door to make it look like the trim pieces and the door one piece. And then of course we have our DeWalt brad nailer. We're using an 18 gauge. So this is all of our supplies for my custom barn door. So let's get started. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to draw the center point of the door, because this is where your pieces are going to line up, and then it's just going to follow that center point. So you can see I drew a line and both of my pieces meet up in the middle at that line. And this is called a chevron design. So we start with the two longest at the very top of the point of the door, the center, and then we went all the way down, making sure that they met up in the middle of the door. And then when we're doing this side, we wanted to make sure that they lined up with the angle as they're coming down. So we've finished laying and cutting all of the pieces. You can see our chevron design came to life. We did run out of pieces right at the end, so I had to go get one more piece. So I got a total of 10 1x4s, and these were 6-foot pieces. So now that we have everything laid out, we know exactly how it's going to look. Now that we have the door laid out, I'm gonna go in and prime my door first. So this is my Kilts tinted primer. It's just regular Kilts with a little bit of black added to it. I always use the tinted primer under anything that I'm painting black. So as you can see, I painted my door Tricorn black. This is Sherwin-Williams. I also primed and painted the sides of my strips. The reason why I do this is because once we install these strips onto the door, it's going to be a lot harder to paint the sides of these strips. So I just went ahead and I just painted the sides. I primed them so we can install them. Once we install them, we just have to hide the holes, and then we can just do the faces, you know, paint the faces of these black. Once it's already installed, it just makes it a lot easier than trying to paint all the sides once it's installed on the door. As you can see, I did run out of space, so I do have to paint additional pieces. One thing I did also want to point out is that I numbered all of my pieces so I knew exactly where to relay them on my door. It makes it a lot easier as well when you're trying to go back and figure out, okay, well, where do all my pieces go? Just number them so you have a good idea and you can just lay them back where they need to go very quickly. Next, we're going to install our wood trim pieces. So I'm using a foam roller and wood glue, and I'm just rolling the glue on the bottom of the trim pieces. And then we're laying them in place and using a brad nailer to just reinforce so that we make sure that they're extra secure. And we just go ahead and lay them back into their place. Once all of our pieces are installed, we cut the excess off of the sides of the door. Next, we're going in with this putty. This is the most disgusting smelling putty there is. I've never smelled anything more disgusting. Do not use this inside of your house. It will literally make you pass out. But we're gonna take the putty and we're going to just cover the sides, trying to make the wood pieces and the board look like one solid piece. We're also covering the brad nail holes to just make it look nice and clean, cover up any type of imperfections, holes, or anything. Just want to make it look very nice and clean. Next, we're going in with a hand sander. We're sanding down the putty to make it smooth, and we're also sanding the corners of the door. That way they're not super sharp. So I just wanted to make sure that all of it was sanded very nicely, going in with primer again, and then now with my Tricorn black Sherwin-Williams paint. Next, we're installing the brackets for our barn door. So I just bought a barn door kit, so it was pretty easy to install. You want to make sure you have your brackets for your door and then install the track over your door frame. So we just followed the directions. I've never done this before, but it was pretty simple. So you can see here, we put a 1x4 on top of the door frame, so it made it extra secure for our track to be installed. Just drilled into that plate and made sure our bolts and everything were very secure, because this door actually became very heavy. It was a hollow door, but once you start putting all those trim pieces and MDF on it, it became very heavy. So Art made sure that it was installed. He was swinging on that track. So now we're going to put the door in. We're making sure that our brackets roll right onto that track. It was a very simple process. Everything turned out nicely. Little celebration right there. And then now you can see that Art is installing the handle. Same handles that I have in my office on my cabinets. I just love these. Purchased these from San Diego Hardware. And I just thought that the gold and black just went nicely and goes with everything else in the house. So this is the finished product. I am absolutely in love with my custom barn door. I've seen doors similar to this on Etsy for close to $1,000, and mine cost a third of that price. It does take a little bit of work, but I am so in love with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this inspires you to make your own barn door, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care, guys.